Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. Before I start the video, I did want to say remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I guess I'm gonna start doing the whole like thing that all the YouTubers do, which says like it, because then my videos get pushed out to more people and stuff. And if more people watch my stuff, then that would be pretty fucking cool, bro. Because I want to have 1 million subs, just like all the other big finance people and shit, man. Because you know what? I think I should probably be up there, man. I don't know. I kind of want to, but remember to like, subscribe, comment, and then we'll get started on the video. I haven't done I haven't done a BTC TA video in like a week and a half, 2 weeks or so. I don't remember. I think the last one that I made was basically saying that I was essentially short, right? And I was hedging against the $34,000 Bitcoin, which I think we're pretty much underway, right? If you guys are part of the Patreon, you guys know that soon enough we're gonna actually end up creating a violent close on the 4 hour, which is essentially when we have a green bubble it's a bearish violent close, right? Which is essentially a green bubble above the zero line, and then you have also the stochastic at lows. So right now, if we can compare this with other violent closes that we've had, let me see if I can get a good example of other violent closes here. This could possibly be a violent close right here. I mean, let me see what happened last time we did this. I'm trying to extend this chart out to make it a lot easier. This can possibly be not the best violent close, but it's definitely close. We actually went down from 43.7 all the way down to 42.1, so like a $1,500 drop, which would put us right now at around $34,000, right? But let's see if we can get a better example. Right, so this would kind of be a close example. No, that's still too high. I mean, it just kind of gives you a really good example of what BTC likes to do when it comes down to this, right? So here we go. This is kind of a closer example of what happened. That's not really a violent close, honestly. Here, this should probably a better. There we go. So last time we had a 4 hour VC was back in March 6th of this year. We ended up dropping from 39.4 all the way down to, just in this one candle, to 38.1, which is like a $1,300 drop, and we kept pushing all the way down to 37.1. So we went from right here, which is the high of 39.3 to 37.1, so a drop about $2,000, right? And that would kind of put us in the same situation where we are right now, right? So if we were to drop, $1,500, we would end up dropping somewhere around the lines of, like a 34.5, right? This is kind of like a $1,400 drop right here, which would put us right at 34,600, right? And a $2,000 drop obviously would take us down to 33.9, which would basically be the initial target of $34,000 that I had. So as of right now, I am setting a forecast of somewhere in the range of, 34.6 to 33,900 or so within maybe the next week or so. This is kind of where I think price is headed, even shorter term than that. Gotta extend this out a little bit, but this is kind of where this is kind of an example of what I would do at like my Patreon, or what I think if somebody were to short, this is kind of what you would this is kind of where position you would take in shorting and stuff. But again, if you guys are part of the Patreon, you guys know exactly right now that we're going to be more than likely experiencing, maybe today, a 4 hour violent close. And again, that's, like I said, it's when the green bubble is up here and the stochastic is at lows. That's what I consider on my custom indicators. This is a violent close, right? And again, this has been back tested for years. My Patreon members have tested this. They already know it works. They've seen it work in the past. So they know that these violent closes can actually be a pretty significant drop, right? Or can lead to a significant drop. So it hasn't closed yet, but again, it's getting extremely close for that happening. I can kind of say that maybe it happens sometime today, tomorrow. And we actually end up seeing that violent close to the downside, which brings us back down to that range of 34.6 and 34K. Unfortunately, within the next week, I can probably see a $34,000 Bitcoin, unless there's some crazy random push to the upside, right? Which there might be some support here at this 34.5, 34.6 level, because again, this is major weekly support. So you might see it come down, you might see it push up again, maybe back up to like trend and stuff. But I think right now we are definitely in line of going back down to like 34.5, 34.6. I would not be surprised to see a Bitcoin drop to that price in the next 2-3 days or so, right? And the thing is, if we actually see Bitcoin drop here sometime tomorrow, Monday morning, I definitely see the SPY, the SPY pushing even lower, and then the dollar or the DXY end up breaking to the top and breaking that 20-year downtrend that I talked about in my most previous video. But as of right now, again, you guys know that I've been bearish for the last 2 or 3 weeks or so, possibly longer than that. I think ever since we actually closed a bear week. Like I said before in my previous video, I'm extremely disappointed because usually the weekly bullish closes end up being extremely reliable. But this time, we actually ended up closing a bullish weekly at 42.4. We ended up closing a bear weekly at 39.7. So if we would have taken this, we would have actually taken a loss of 42.4, 39.7 for 700. I mean, we would have taken a loss of, not that much. It would have been a loss of $700 if you would have actually bought like a full Bitcoin, which I really doubt that a lot of people can really afford it. But let me see, what's the percentage loss? We would have taken a percentage loss of about, at the close, 6.5%. That's not that bad. I mean, that loss isn't that bad. It's just I'm more disappointed that my weekly RMACD didn't give us a signal or didn't actually push to the upside. And it's kind of unfortunate for Bitcoin because it's been extremely, I don't want to say accurate, but the momentum on these weekly closes for the bull side, it's been extremely, extremely good for Bitcoin. And the fact that it only traded sideways like that should have been a significant signal that, Bitcoin was going to continue to drop to the low side. And right now, unfortunately, even for the weekly, let me see if I can zoom in here for you guys. Let me see if I can. There we go. Even for the weekly, right? You have a general rise in momentum every single week, right? Every single week, which is what we don't want to see, right? Every single week, you've had this just general curve to the upside like that, and if we stay on this momentum, we can see significant higher drops in Bitcoin in the coming weeks, and like I said, that's kind of unfortunate because I would prefer that not to happen. But essentially what's going on is that every single momentum push is going to be bigger than the one before, right? So we actually had this huge, right? So this, let me see if I can make this easier for you guys to understand, right? The fact that we're making greater momentum pushes means that these candle weekly pushes are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? These volatile pushes are getting bigger. So this push from here to here, the next candle was bigger, right? The next candle had a bigger price range. Then same thing here. It means we're consistently creating lower lows, which is not what we want. We want this momentum RMACD to start closing on the lower end, right? And that's kind of what we want, right? We need it to start closing on the lower end because as of right now, there's just there's too many signals about Bitcoin dropping lower. Again, as of right now, we can probably see a pretty good indication that we might even go down to like 31K. I think if we go lower than right here, if we go lower than 34,322, I think it's almost game over. If we go lower than 32,933.33, which is that low from back in January of earlier this year, I think it's kind of game over, and I think we're more than likely headed somewhere in the lines of back to possibly like a $26,000 Bitcoin, honestly. So, we definitely do not want to be on the crappy end of the stick here and have, consistent closes to the downside. It's just extremely unfortunate. But as of right now, everything looks extremely sour. Bitcoin looks like it's going to drop at least short term back to 34.6, possibly 3400 or 34,000, sorry, that range or so. That's my forecast for today, tomorrow. It's just everything in Bitcoin's chart looks extremely bearish. And, the most bullish thing that I see on Bitcoin right now is a possible rally back to like trend here, which is like maybe like a 38.9-ish or something. But then an ultimate drop back all the way down here, right? As far as what just what the BTC chart is like showing me and stuff. So give me a second. Which is, that sound is kind of, relevant to what's happening now with Bitcoin, right? So again, my most bullish scenario is that we actually have some sort of bounce here and then a complete retrace back to 34.5. But again, all I'm really waiting for is this violent close on the 4 hour If that happens, I think we're going down to 34.5, 3400. If you're part of the Patreon, you know exactly what this means. You know exactly how to take this trade. And you know, if you're not part of the Patreon, highly recommend joining. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people learned a lot of stuff. There's already people in the you know, that haven't been trading for a while that are now, maybe after like 2-3 months of learning, you know, on the Patreon, they're already looking into getting a funded account of like $200,000 for Forex and stuff to start, you know, trading live, right? Which is fantastic. But again, it's just not looking good, right? It's not looking good. The 34K is looking more and more realistic by the day. You know, we'll see what happens. As of right now, I'm 100% bearish, unfortunately. And until my reverse MACD actually starts triggering some bullish signs, I'm gonna consistently stay bullish. I mean, sorry, bearish. It's just, there's no reason for me to be bullish right now. It's just all the indications right now are just pointing down. So it's unfortunate. I don't like talking like this. That's just how it is. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.